A reboot of OG Star Wars could be on the way in animated form. Will that be the sort of thing that Star Wars fans finally say, hey, it's been reborn, we'll watch it again? Or is this a frivolous attempt by a Walt Disney company, a Lucasfilm adrift, unable to recapture the excitement and the magic of a galaxy far, far away for audiences who have gone away from Star Wars? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, damas y caballeros, niños y niñas, welcome back. Bienvenidos to the place where we cover the news you need to know. Entertainment is the specialty here, and we're happy to specialize in scooping. Today we are scooping some more when it comes to Star Wars and Lucasfilm. We've got a story, folks, that is exclusive. We're resurrecting something from a year ago that may have been more than we knew at the time. Get ready. Folks, all we ask from you is a like button press. And you know what? If you feel so inclined, even drop down and give us your thoughts. Opine in the comments down below. And here we go. Star Wars, the cartoon trilogy? We'll explain right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an exclusive. Take a look at this out of Giant Freaking Robot. This is a year ago, but it's an exclusive because we're now hearing from sources that there may be some truth, some validity to this one. Let's see what it has to say. The only way to reboot Star Wars. This was by Zach Zagranis. And get ready, folks. We're going to get into rumor and speculation territory, but we're hearing some stuff about this. The original Star Wars trilogy is a near-perfect trio of films that represent the golden age of Hollywood blockbusters. But as Star Wars lore grows and the context surrounding the certain scenes from the OG films changes and mutates, it can get a bit tricky to make those three movies fit perfectly into the greater Star Wars narrative. Retcons. And while I would never lobby for Lucasfilm to remake those original movies so that they would work better in the context of modern Star Wars, if they were so inclined, anime would be the way to go, it says. George Lucas himself proved that you can only add so much to those original films via CGI before the results are nigh unwatchable. If Disney did decide that they wanted a version of A New Hope in which Obi-Wan Kenobi acknowledges that he used to know R2-D2, or even just a version in which Han Solo's head doesn't have to take up residence in the uncanny valley to avoid Greedo shooting first, the only option that makes sense is a Star Wars anime. Now, again, this was a year ago, and it goes on to say that the older action sequences don't hold up anymore and all that. This was an article out a year ago, and it spread, and people talked about it. But, you know, we wouldn't bring this up to you except, guys and gals, I have been hearing now, and I've received some stuff from a source that claims that this may have been the feelers being put out. And I had not considered that Giant Freaking Robot might have connections or anything like that. And I don't know. Maybe they don't. But maybe this was testing the waters a wee bit, because what I am now hearing, although it is not yet confirmed, is that Lucasfilm may indeed, Disney may indeed now be looking to do a reboot of Star Wars in animated form, in which they make some moderate changes to the OG. And panel, I just wanted to see what you guys have to say about this. Jonas and I were talking before the show about, what this would look like. And I said, it kind of reminds me of World of Warcraft when they went back to vanilla. And I kind of worry that the first one they do, if they do A New Hope, would be almost exactly the same, except, animated. And then if that works, I fear that Lucasfilm, being the jerks that they are, would begin to insert in the next films their agenda into a Star Wars reboot. But I think they're desperate enough to do this, and I'm hearing that these articles actually may have been Lucasfilm and Disney finding out what the response would be, and it wasn't entirely negative. Guys, what do you say to this? What do you think about the idea of a Star Wars animated reboot?
It would be a complete disaster because, like you said, they would not be able to help themselves. Luke would be diminished. Leia would be propped up. They'd probably introduce new characters. It would be a mess. And it would be just a slap in the face to George Lucas, who, let's be fair, never treated those movies as though they were, unchangeable. He changed them quite often. But he was changing them because they were his movies. To see them now go in and I could just hear like the out of touch. Bob Iger just discovered that kids like video games. Oh, kids like that anime. From over there in Japan. So maybe we should do one of those with Star Wars.
We doing one of those manjas? We're gonna do a manja?
Yeah. It would be a complete and utter disaster. You would I mean, animated would be the best way to do it, but I think they will do it, because what else are they going to do? There's nothing else they can do. It's a dead brand. So now they have to remake the originals for their new audience that doesn't even exist, so that they can move forward without being compared to the originals that they don't like. And I think that is it. I think it's going to be Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars, the original trilogy in animated form.
All right, Culture, what else are they going to do? What else? I mean, that's one of the reasons we're giving this credence, beyond the fact that we've got sources saying, hey guys, you need to be paying attention to this, because this might be percolating. Culture, what else could they do? They want to bring back these original characters because they're the things that sell. Their merchandising partners are saying, hey, we can sell Luke. We can't sell this other stuff. We can sell Han. We can't sell whatever you've got going on with these other things. So maybe an animated Star Wars, and they could do it on Disney Plus. Maybe it's all they got left, Culture.
Well, no, I think that, Marvin actually mentioned this. They don't have anything else. I mean, you've got the original characters. Nothing else resonates. Nothing else is saleable. It's the only reason why we have the Wookiee we have right now in front of us, is because, they're a long-lived race, and, you can have them go from place to place. But you cannot inject the message into Star Wars, because it destroys the story. And again, the story is simple. It's the hero's journey. And you can't have a hero's journey in the woke storytelling model. It's the same problem that you run into when you're riding on the let's go looking for groceries in the mud bog in Tiana's. That doesn't work either. But specifically with Star Wars, what if Star Wars resonates with anyone? I mean, I think everybody's starting to recognize now that the starfighter garbage that we're going to get is going to be just let's prop up Rey some more. And I don't think people are into that. They're not into the let's get High Republic, which is what we've got here, or anything else. People are done with that invented past, and they're done with the invented future, because they abandon what makes Star Wars great.
Okay, Culture. If they did an animated, let's say they do, and anybody could weigh in as well.
Sure.
If they do an animated redo of Star Wars, I don't even know what to call this, but it's kind of like a reverse of what Disney's been doing with live action, right?
Live action, exactly.
It's a reversal of it. So what changes would we expect Lucasfilm to do in the original trilogy? And even more intriguingly, do you think they would ever animate the sequel trilogy? And if they did, what changes would they go with there?
Well, they would probably make Finn a Jedi, as we'd all anticipated, and then they would properly turn Rey into a villain, which she was. So, I'll just say that would probably be a way to fix that. But going back to the original, I'm just going to say because it's Disney, and, because of the people that are affiliated with Disney or running Disney now, they definitely wouldn't get rid of Leia kissing her brother. That would be something they'd spend extra time on in the animation.
Oh my gosh.
They'll probably add a human and Wookiee relationship somewhere in there too, just because of the current state of.
I'm telling you.
I think what would happen is Leia would marry her brother in order to emigrate to Tatooine.
Oh!
So wait, what becomes the relationship between R2D2 and C3PO? Does that go somewhere else as well? Especially now that we know that droids have had relationships with you.
Oh, listen, Lando's going to be eyeballing BB-8. Eyeballing BB-8. No, it's a bad joke.
But there's a level of perversion that we have to expect with what they'll do in the manga or the anime of this story, because they can't help themselves. The company is disgusting, which is why nobody consumes their new stuff, which is why very few people went and saw Tron Ares. This is like, and this is from the same era. Remember Tron Ares 82, which Star Wars movie was 82?
Well, I just want to clarify, we're not sure here that anime is the only way, okay? Animated is what we're hearing. This is still rumor and speculation territory, but we're hearing animated. We're hearing that this is strongly being considered, and maybe preliminary efforts are underway to get it going. but I don't know if it's anime or not. So I don't know. Guys, go ahead.
Disney's, I got to push back because Disney's animation, they've gone with let's uglify all the characters animation versus anime. They still keep the characters looking somewhat, decent looking. So I would prefer anime to Disney animation.
I have said repeatedly that I thought that the way that they could have continued the story was to do an animated series a la Clone Wars or Rebels that takes place after Return of the Jedi, following Han, Luke, and Leia. But they're clearly never going to do that. And if they do animation, who's going to be running the show. It's going to be Dave Filoni.
Oh no!
It will be Dave Filoni presents the Star Wars original trilogy, and I know I'm right.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't know why they wouldn't just shove everything into Sora and say, make an animated version of this and then release that in theaters.
Oh, listen, Mark Hamill will lose his mind. The guy who gave them permission to de-age him over and over is now saying, don't do it after I'm dead, darn you.
I don't want my family to make any money off of me.
Which, I don't know if he knows it.
Wife and kids.
I don't know if he realized this. He's criticizing James Earl Jones, who did just that right before he passed away. It's the craziest thing ever. All these stories.
Want nothing for my granddaughter, who I didn't want to exist.
Oh, that's a bad one. That's a blow. Oh, but folks, you know what we're talking about.
Do you realize what we've done this entire segment once you set us loose on it?
Had fun?
Yeah, but we tore it apart. Does anybody realistically think that Star Wars actual fans want any more humiliation done to any of the things we used to love?
That's not what that's about, Culture. It's about getting 5 to 11-year-olds. 5 to 11-year-olds to know what the story is now.
Gone.
Because what they're looking at, and maybe I should have talked about this before, what they're looking at Lucasfilm is they don't believe little kids are watching the OG trilogy anymore. They've lost the generational handoff, right, from between the parents to the kids. Now it's grandparents, and everybody's so sick of Star Wars. That didn't happen with this new generation. So they got to figure out a way to restart the story, and a cartoon is the way they're thinking they might do it.
They can't, because, if their grandparents did bother to show it to them, which after what Kathleen Kennedy said about 50-year-olds, I don't think so much. I think people are going to show their grandkids like things that have still remained classics. I mean, you're still seeing a lot of action movies being shown to young people that are from the 80s specifically. I'd love to believe this is possible, but it's not. And Disney is not very clear on what it was that kept their what did you guys call it? The wheel of doom, spinning wheel,
mosquito wheel.
Whatever, the flywheel, and the thing is that they destroyed that part of the flywheel, especially when they acquired Star Wars, would have been production of new and interesting toys and trying to rebuild a toy market that's absolutely gone. Somebody point out to me why it's very difficult for me to sell some of the Disney themed Barbies for some reason, or any of the other collectibles that I have from my family members.
Because you got 7 dozen Rose Tico dolls. We told you not to buy those.
No,
we told
I didn't buy any.
You pulled the pickup truck up to Ollie's. We said don't do it. How many times?
Okay, come on. That was Jeff over at World Class Bologna Sausage, and he
ding that bell on him. He said sausage.
Wait, I can't say sausage.
I don't know.
You're a bologna sausage man.
He's the boss. I do what he says.
If they do the animated thing, Ron, I hope, will be a voice because he can sing. Maybe we'll get Star Wars the musical. Maybe it'll be in line with like Beauty and the Beast, and we can have great songs, and Ron can play Obi-Wan. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Ron can play Obi-Wan? Okay.
Of course.
I'll just be over here.
We know who he looks like. And it is time to put a bow on it for this one, folks. Is a gift to everybody who wants to know exactly what's going on in the entertainment industry. And we are so joyful that you were there to receive it. We hope that you had a great time. An attitude of gratitude on this channel every single time you decide to spend time with us. As we get ready to say goodbye, we only ask a few simple things. Click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. And folks, as you get ready to head out that door, do you have a place on social media that you love to share this sort of thing? Hey, you can make this YouTube video sing by putting it out there for your friends, your family, and for those weirdos who just won't leave you alone. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.